Hello and welcome to the SuperShow podcast. As you can see, we're in a little bit of a different location.
Yeah, sounds a little bit different too.
Yes, that's because we're on one microphone, recording on a laptop with a webcam. Hey, this is what happens when you are unemployed.
Yes.
Okay? Jamie on my right, Jonesy on my left. Speaking about unemployment, if you'd like us, you'd like to help us get better kits, we are fully funded by Patreon.
Yeah, people have been wondering for a little while, where's that Patreon money going to go? And now you can see for yourselves.
Hopefully. Look, I hope the quality is okay. I do apologize. If you do want to support us on Patreon, it's patreon.com/supershow. Go check it out. We've got some interesting tiers.
Yeah, so where are we today then? Because we're not in our usual...
Do you want to tell them?
We're in my sex dungeon. Or my lounge, if you will.
It's a pretty sex dungeon / lounge. I like it.
It's nicer than anything I've got in my home, Things are neat. You've got...
Well, it doesn't matter.
I quite like it. I could stay here.
One thing is you can't stay here. How dare you? I'm going to kick you down the street
sofa.
after this.
Yeah, I was going to lie on the sofa for a little bit.
It's very non-gamer though, is it? Because if you're watching us for the first time, you'd think, what are these guys all about? What about games?
You can tell that you didn't get to decide on the decor.
Yeah, that's because there's not a...
Are you kidding? Those portraits are a crab lifting weights.
That crab does look a bit like you.
Yes, it
If
does.
it was up to you, it would have been like Link in the woods.
Yeah. I don't know if I would, I don't know if I would have like a gaming memorabilia. Yeah. Look at
this. It's kind of like tattoos. Do you go for the gaming tattoo or is that a bit too on the nose? Some people are pro, some people are against.
It's a good question. Not for this podcast.
I met someone recently, just a bit of a side note, who had got a Legend of Zelda tattoo. They got the Master Sword as a tattoo, and they had yet to play a single Legend of Zelda game.
Why?
What?
They watched their brother play it when they were younger, apparently, and it left an impression on them. They decided to get
so
that
it's still
tattoo.
linked to Legend of Zelda. It's not
I
like
like
they
it.
just
Linked to it.
Yeah.
It's still. It's not that they just got it because they saw it in a book and they thought it might look good as a tattoo.
No, there is some sentimental reason behind it, but still, I was a little bit like, okay,
maybe just play the fucking games.
Yeah.
Well, look, okay, so this episode is sponsored by some patrons.
Hey,
So
the legends.
There is a list on screen right now, but a special shout out goes to Angus McChilly, Brett Zerbrig, Terry Spence, and of course, the legend himself, Skylar Music.
Thanks, fellas, as always.
The super shows, super fans.
Yes.
The people...
patrons. Anyway.
They're going to get us out of this living room and get
back
us
into a
mic.
What's wrong with this living room?
Well, it's just not very podcast suitable, is it?
As a living room, it's great. As
Yeah.
a podcast studio, it's not the best.
Hey, we're making do, all right?
Yeah.
Anyway, how have you guys been since the last time we recorded a podcast? What have you been playing? What have you been doing? Have you been watching movies? How much masturbating have you been doing?
I can answer that last question very easily by saying lots. Ooh. The other stuff, not so much, primarily because there's been so much masturbation.
Haven't had time for everything else.
Exactly. Do you know what? We had some stuff going on at the end of last week, around the time that we recorded last week's podcast, and everything felt super busy and super stressful. And I remember on Saturday morning telling myself, this is it, I'm in the clear now.
You're in the clear.
Life as an unemployed vagrant, as a vagabond, now begins. And since then, not an awful lot. I've played some games, though.
Yeah?
I'd give a special shout out to Apex Legends Season 4.
Yeah, did you jump in?
Jumped on that, yes.
Man, I wanted to jump in. I messaged these guys and it's like,
You did.
You did.
Apex Legends Season 4, let's go. Who's in? I got one reply. I think it was from you, Jamie.
It was from me.
And I haven't played it.
Yeah, you didn't end up...
I'll get into what my week's been like, but yeah.
I jumped on there with my friend Adam and we played a handful of matches. Got our first win of Season 4.
Nice.
Decent.
And our teammate as well left very early on. So
Just
we got...
the two?
Just the two of us. We got 9 kills between us.
Nice.
Won our game. So that felt good.
Still a good game. Still feels great to
Still
play.
solid as ever. Haven't got a chance to go hands-on with Revenant, who's the new character. But
Yeah.
he seems interesting. Got an interesting backstory as well. If
Yeah,
anyone's
that
following that
cinematic
stuff.
is quality.
Yeah, and all the bait and switch did you see with they announced a character called Forge and then killed him off before he was even put in the game and replaced him with the person that killed him. That shit was neat.
I like it.
Also, I'll give a shout out to the new weapon, which is called the Sentinel bolt action sniper rifle. So not my style because I can't aim for love nor money. But
Bolt action as well.
That game is still good.
That is if you are convinced you are an ace shot.
Yeah.
But if you're not, then don't go anywhere near it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you're down there and you've got a Mozambique and a fucking Sentinel, what are you gonna fucking do?
I'd go
There
for
are
this
still
in that
Mozambiques.
situation. I'd go for the Sentinel just on the off chance that someone runs past you. They're super close and you can't miss. And you hope that the Sentinel's a one shot, one kill.
It depends how much armor they've got,
Right.
and whether or not you hit them in the head.
Right.
Man, I like when they announced that season 4, the trailer and everything. I was like, man, yeah, I really want to jump back into that game because I haven't played it probably since season
Any
1.
of that shit.
Yeah.
Season 4 stuff, I haven't looked at any of it.
There's a lot of cool stuff in there now, and there's a lot more customization options. Some nice things like the battle passes, obviously, in there now. There's some good quality of life changes. It's in a good place. And I'll also give one quick shout out to the other game I've played, and I was actually playing at about 1 a.m. last night.
Leisure Suit Larry?
Uno.
Uno. Did you use the reverse card?
Oh, many, many times. We had some historic back and forths, in fact, like reverse card after reverse card. It's $7.99 on the PlayStation Store.
Am I missing something? You actually played Uno?
I actually played Uno. I was playing Call of Duty again with a friend of mine, and he was like, "Do you want to play Uno?" So I just bought it and played Uno.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I thought I'd give a shout out to Uno.
Maybe we should do an Uno Let's Play on.
That'd be cool. I could do that. A bit of multiplayer Uno.
I was having a conversation with the guy because it was Adam, my friend, PlayStation Grenade, who obviously does YouTube as well, and he was thinking, how would you make a video out of Uno? But yeah, we were talking about it has been done.
Okay.
We'd manage. I know we'd manage. Do you play anything else? Just literally fucking Uno
Played
and
some
Apex.
Call of Duty, played some Ghost Recon, other stuff here and there. I've collected Ring Fit Adventure from the post office. I haven't started yet.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm hoping this time next week I can give a full week recap.
That would be good.
Played it every day.
What is your thoughts on the season 2 of Modern Warfare?
It's been going for a while, hasn't it?
I thought they announced a whole bunch of shit, and it's just
Maybe they're now. Oh, I think it's just about to start. I think it's because they were doing all this double XP when I was playing last night. Because I think it's just coming to the end of this season. I don't know if
so maybe they're talking about the next season.
Yeah, do you know they put out a thing on Twitter the other day? They were teasing Ghost, the character, coming back in some form.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, that stuff isn't in the game at time of recording.
I think that's tied to this new season.
I wouldn't be surprised if this weekend or Monday it would start. I should have paid more attention, but Call of Duty is still fun. Depending on how good you are.
That's very true.
Anyway,
is the shotgun still fucked?
That shotgun specifically is not as fucked as it was before. But shotguns still feel powerful.
Man, when everyone was getting into the multiplayer, I was like, okay, so there's a shotgun that you can snipe people with, and everyone's blowing everyone up with claymores. Yeah, pass.
I had a lot of fun with it when I first got into it, but like Jamie said, if you don't stick with it, then you're gonna struggle after a little while.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's more or less my week in a nutshell.
Nice. It all sounds like a nice week. I'll jump into my week.
Go for it,
because it was not very eventful.
Wow.
No, surely you finished Last of Us.
No.
Yeah,
I did start it.
That was your promise.
Well, promises are made to
No,
be broken.
the promise was was for 2 weeks ago that he was going to finish it by last week. So then this week.
No, the promise was always to finish it this week.
Okay.
I gave myself 2 weeks, but yeah, it didn't happen. I don't know. Like you said, we got to a point at the end of last week where it's the slate is fucking clean.
Right. Yeah.
And I was really looking forward
Time
to
to
it.
game.
And then life had a look at it and said, you know what, Chris? I don't think this is for you, my man.
But the funny thing is, my excuse wouldn't hold up in your life because my excuse is sleep. I had a thing yesterday where I was like, I'm going to wake up and go to the cinema because I have to go and get something from the post office. I woke up at 2:30 and I was like, well, no, I'm not going to do any of that.
Fuck you.
So I just went to the post office and then came back and then just ate food and played games the rest of the day.
Fair enough, man. Yeah. No, it's been difficult. I've been trying to focus on some SuperShow stuff, some family stuff, trying to get some gaming in there. I got a fair bit of gaming done. So I started Last of Us.
Yes.
Okay. I got to the Capitol building.
Okay, yeah.
So, about 2.5 hours in.
So that chick is still with you?
Yes.
The
Whatever
older
her name
lady.
is. Whatever her name is.
Older lady.
Yeah.
Whatever her name is.
The one that's not the kid.
The one that's probably going to die at some point, I'm sure.
Who could say?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so I'm enjoying it. It's definitely a lot better than the time I had with Uncharted. So that's
encouraging.
automatically a fucking one up there.
Yes.
I've also been playing a lot of Hollow Knight.
Right, yeah, on the Switch.
Because on the Switch and because I can play it in the last hour or two that I have of the day in bed before the battery dies and then I cry myself to sleep. Man, that game is seriously fucking cool. And I'm kicking myself that I didn't get into it when it came out. But ultimately it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, it was...
You're into it now.
It's such a good game, man. It's I'm hoping I can finish it before Silksong comes out.
Right, is that a full-on sequel?
Yeah.
Or is it, okay.
Yeah, full-on sequel.
Does it scratch the same itch as Sekiro did for you? Because I know there were some light comparisons to Souls-like games.
look, it's a platformer, right? But then it's got Metroidvania elements, and it's got Dark Souls-y elements in terms of like a boss focus.
Yes.
The bosses are hard. The game is generally hard, but not unfair.
Okay.
It's more the Metroidvania and the, I don't want to say RPG because you don't really level up, but you can level up your sword if you can collect enough stuff. And the Metroidvania kind of style, and it's really kind of scratching that itch. It's really good. Really, really good.
Have you played any more Sekiro?
I've not played, I logged into it and
Looked at it, thought...
Can we break the fourth wall for a second?
Yeah.
Is that the TV that you play Sekiro
That's
on?
the TV. Just
And is that the sofa you sit
That's
on?
the TV. That's the couch. Hell yeah.
Wow.
Everyone now's like, I want to see.
I feel like a piece of history has happened, has taken place in the room we're sat in. This is Sekiro room.
For months he's been sat right there playing that.
Trying to fucking beat Sekiro. Yeah, to give you a lowdown on where I am in Sekiro, I've now have to beat the true corrupted monk, which has 3 life bars.
Perfect.
So
It just doesn't sound fun.
it's getting to the point.
It's not. You're going to say it then, weren't you? You're going to say it's not.
No, it's a different kind of fun, but I've gotten to the point where I've got that, or I've got Hollow Knight, and I feel I can chip off more progress on Hollow Knight than I can on Sekiro. So I'm going to focus on that for a while. Plus, I think I've said to myself I want to finish Last of Us before I go back to Sekiro anyway.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
give yourself a bit of a break.
Well, because
So
it's an
you're gonna-
achievable goal,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Like,
very achievable.
So I can see you getting back to Sekiro in 6 to 9 months.
so funny.
I might get Sekiro just so I can finish it before Christmas.
Honestly,
You know you wouldn't, though.
I've
Serial unfinished over
I
here.
think I might.
I've had that thought about The Last of Us. I've been really tempted this week just to play it and finish it, just so I can message the group being like, just played and finished all of The Last of Us in 2 days.
No, but that's bullshit because you don't have anything else to do.
well,
That's true.
I could have a hot date this week.
Do you have a hot date this week?
Yeah, with my right hand.
Mrs. Palmer and her 5 daughters?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't really use them for anything.
Well, I'll give you an example. I was meant to go watch a movie yesterday. I wanted to go watch 1917 during the day.
Okay.
Dropped off the little one at nursery. It's like, go watch a movie. No, can't do that. Someone's got to come and change the fucking boiler to a smart meter, and it's like, fuck my life. I hate being an adult.
There is something about this time of year that makes everything go wrong with houses, because my heating's been broken for the last 5 days.
My boiler started leaking.
But yeah, what is it?
There we go. Oh, can I tell you what it is?
Winter.
No, I'll tell you what it is. We are unemployed, and everything is terrible.
Yeah. Well, we haven't heard from Jonesy yet.
You got a job, Alex Jones?
No.
You getting any money in?
No.
Oh.
Not at all.
You know what the worst part is? We haven't even cleared that money from Patreon yet.
Yeah.
Although, cause for celebration, we are now eligible for monetization on our YouTube channel.
Wow, that's an extra $1 per video.
If that.
Don't you knock it. That's $1 in our pocket.
No, it's 30 cents in your pocket.
Yeah.
No, YouTube
Take a cut.
Collectively.
Yeah, it's fuck all. But we love every one
Yeah,
of
but that
you
wouldn't
for trying.
have the same ring to it, is it? Like, I need $1, and it's like, what's it? I need 30 cents.
Yeah, doesn't really work.
I'll take what they can get.
I'll give you 30 cents on the dollar, Jamie.
Do you ever get it where someone asks you for change and you're like, they caught you in the right moment or the right mood, so you're going to give it to them, and then they start explaining why they need it, and it's obviously made up, and you're like, why did you start talking? Yeah. I had that the other day where I walked out of the Chinese restaurant and I'd been given change, so I had like pound coins loose in my pocket, and a woman said, "Oh, can I borrow £1?" And I was like, do you know what? Fine, yeah. You caught me with a pound coin in my purse. And I'm going to get it out. And she's like, yeah, I'm down here from Leicester and my Oyster card's broken and I don't know how the system... I was like, just stop talking.
Yeah, you've made the sale.
I was already
getting
going to give
the
it
pound.
to you.
I don't need to know your made-up story about why you don't want to tell me you're buying drugs. Just buy your drugs.
You want to hear my most recent story about coins?
Do you know what? No, not really.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
you
This
put
is
it
going
like
to be
that.
really boring. Well, I collected 5 identical
No, listen.
TNTs and put
So
them in a
we
roll.
were all out on Friday night, right?
Yeah.
Cracking night. We had a really good time.
Very good.
It was a good night.
I went to the bar, ordered myself a double amaretto and lime on the rocks.
Fair enough.
Delicious drink. And it came to £8. So what did I do? I got 8 £1 coins from my little coin pocket and put it on the bar. And a woman next to me who maybe was hoping I was going to buy her some drinks and then got deflated said, "Where'd you get all of those from?" And I said, "My pocket."
Was it someone we knew?
No. And it was just some random.
Oh.
And I said, "Well, my pocket." And she goes, "Oh, you're like a leprechaun." And then I just looked at her and I said, "Okay." And I left. That's my coin story.
I like that she hoped you were going to buy her a drink when specifically you had 8 shiny pounds to pay for your one drink.
No, but this one, I
Also,
think
hold on, can we go back? You paid £8 for one drink.
it's London, my dude.
Yeah, but that's a lot for that.
Okay, but it was a double amaretto in line.
You can guess where we were by that point.
Yeah.
Begins with J.
Jerusalem. I'll say it. I don't care.
Well, yeah, okay.
Expensive.
People probably work out where we hang out now.
Well,
Anyway.
we're never going to go back to Jerusalem ever again now, are we?
You have to buy us a drink
fair.
if you see us there.
Yeah. Let's move on from coin stories.
Yeah, the last
yeah,
time
what-
I got my coin purse out in a nightclub, I got in trouble, so...
Yeah.
Talking about serial unfinishing and not finishing games, I'm jumped back into Death Stranding.
Hell yeah, it's a long time coming.
Yes.
Yeah, so I haven't played it for about a month, I think.
What
Maybe longer.
what
You
kind
haven't
of...
played it since you declared it your game of the year.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, no, I needed. I told. I know it's before that I hadn't played it. No, I felt like I needed a break. I needed some time away from it, so I've been playing some easy.
So in a way, actually, Jonesy did that because he started playing it, and then technically I finished the story before him.
No, because you watched a video on YouTube,
I'll have you know it was an 11-hour video.
but you didn't play it, and you probably watched it on 2 times speed.
I did.
Yeah, so it's not 11
It
hours.
was a 5.5-hour video.
But no, I've hopped right back in. It's still great, and I'm still enjoying it.
Good. So still, you stand by your assertion that it was your game of the year 2019.
Yeah, and I haven't even finished it yet, so there you go. Lots of cool new stuff still to come.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you finishing it. You haven't had the ending spoiled for you yet, have you?
I have not.
Okay, good.
Okay, good.
I've tried to stay away from anything to do with Death
To be
Stranding.
fair, it's, with a few exceptions, it's an ending that's hard to spoil,
Right.
succinctly.
You got to sit down with someone.
Yeah.
They got to explain
Yeah.
that shit to you.
There's a few one-sentence spoilers you could give, but they're not the whole.
But also, I think you're in the clear. Like, it's been long enough that people aren't really talking about the ending anymore.
Not
They just-
really, yeah.
If they're talking about how much they love the game or hate the game, and that's about it.
Also, most people that talk about the ending don't haven't played the bloody game anyway. They've just watched videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Guarantee that's most people.
Well, you know what? Say what you want. I now know more than you.
This
so
is very true.
There
This
we
is
go.
true.
Just play anything else. If you tell me Need for Speed Heat, I might pull out my eyeballs.
Did I play any? No, I didn't play any Need for Speed Heat.
Thank God for that.
Because it was the Super Bowl this weekend.
Oh yes.
So rather than play computer games, I had some people round, and we
Round
played
yours?
beer
What?
pong.
Friends.
Go. We made
We,
chicken.
did you go?
I didn't go.
I didn't
Did
go.
Did you?
You guys are far away.
I thought we were
Yeah,
friends.
it's not our fault you decided to live in the countryside.
I know. To be fair, it wasn't going to be at my house. It was going to be at someone else's, but then they couldn't do it last minute, so I stepped up.
That's what they always say, right?
Did you get your American flag decorations in time?
I didn't. I couldn't find any American flag decorations. So you know what I did? I got red, white, and blue balloons, and I
Okay.
got red, white, and blue serviettes. and
That's
I used them.
not
Fair
a
enough.
bad
And then I got some of those red plastic American cups from like American Pie.
Oh,
We played a bit of
solo
beer
cups.
pong. Yeah,
Nice.
and we drank and watched.
Is it true that those little ridges on the solo cups are like different measurements for alcohol units?
I've got no idea. It makes sense though.
I think it was like the one on the bottom is like for your liquor, the one
Okay.
the one in the middle is like wine, and the one on top is like beer or something.
That would make so much sense if that was true, but I don't know.
Or maybe it was a rumor. I don't know.
It would be a weird rumor to start.
Hold on though, but you could just use them as that, and then that would become the measurement.
Yeah. It's the same as
Yeah.
using fingers. It's like an arbitrary
Yeah.
form of measurement.
Some people's fingers are bigger than others.
Yeah.
Oh my
Exactly.
god! How many?
No one wants
how many
to have my
fingers did I have in me on Friday night?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god.
Anyway, should we move on to some gaming news? If we've got any.
If you, I want to hear more about the Super Bowl.
Oh, well, Super Bowl was great. It was
Who was? Because I don't know anything about
It was
it.
the 49ers were playing the Chiefs.
And who won?
I thought the 49ers were going to win. I thought they had it sewed up. They had a
Okay,
great
so the Chiefs
season.
won.
Chiefs won.
Yeah, KC.
But they had a great season. They
Kaiser Chiefs.
Kaiser Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs.
But after halftime, it was 2010 to the 49ers.
Who were the underdogs going into it, the 49ers, right?
Yeah, I think
The betting underdogs, let's say.
Yeah, they were slightly. But like I said, I was convinced they were going to win because they'd had such a great season. They're a very consistent team.
Yeah.
But in the second half, no, the Chiefs came back.
And I heard
Swung it.
that quarterback, is it Mahomes?
Mahomes, yeah.
He's the talk of the town at the moment.
Oh.
Well, he was already going in, and someone did say to me how the difference between the two teams is the 49ers got consistency, but they don't have as much of a sparkle.
Right.
Whereas the Chiefs do have a bit of sparkle, and they showed it. They showed it in the second half. They did really well.
So it's like make or break. Like they could do it. They could also just fall on their asses.
I must admit, I was really struggling toward the end of the second quarter because for us it starts at like 11 o'clock and it
Yes.
finishes.
Oh, yeah,
at
geez, those things
half
take forever,
3 in the
don't they?
morning.
Flags on.
So I was struggling to stay awake, and so a couple of other guys were as well. And there was a couple of plays which
Was
were
anyone of your friends outright like passed out? Like
Yeah, a couple of points. But then we would wake up and be like, "Oh, we're watching." Got to the point where I had to stand up.
Touchdown!
I had to actually stand up to watch.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
Can you not
God.
fall asleep standing up?
No.
Yeah, I'll tell you the trick that I have when I'm fall asleep driving at the wheel. Just open up the window and put your head out.
Like a dog.
Yeah.
I slap myself and drink Coke. If I'm I had an accidental nap yesterday, for example.
An accidental nap.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh,
That's a great way to put it.
I don't know how this happened.
Where were you?
Well, so I was
At home.
On the bus.
in bed.
He puts on his pajamas like, I'm just gonna have it.
No.
Just gonna crawl into
Basically,
bed and
sometimes the most comfortable place to go on my laptop is just in bed because like I've only got one chair in my room and it's I like a bit of variety, you know. So I'll go and lie down in bed and I'll be watching YouTube videos or something. And I remember I ate 2 cookies and I was lying in bed and I just started drifting off and then I fell asleep. And the reason I knew it was an accident is because I woke up after a little while and I remember thinking, oh, okay, you've woken up now, time to get out of bed. And I couldn't. I was too tired. Yeah, I couldn't move. Oh, right. And there was an apple Lucozade down the side of my bed, and I was like, just have one glug and you'll be okay. Just have one sip and you'll be awake. And I couldn't, so I fell asleep for another hour. And I woke up about 8 o'clock with 2 hours accidental nap. Then I drank my apple Lucozade.
And then you got up, played some games, and went back to bed.
Yeah, but I didn't go to sleep until like 3 because of that.
Wow. Okay.
You sound like me when I was a student. That's exactly what I was.
Well, I feel in some ways I feel like I never stopped being a student. Like I started working with you guys when I was 20, and nothing changed for some reason. It should have done. I'm 27 next month.
But it didn't.
No, 27 this month. Fuck.
Oh,
27th in like. 27
oh shit! 27 3 days ago.
No, I was 27 in like 2 weeks or something like that.
Oh, man,
blimey!
Yeah, I know.
Accidental nap.
I think it's probably because
20s.
like Jonesy and I fight so hard to not be old farty men.
How old were you two when you got married?
27.
And
Oh, I don't fucking know.
thanks for playing the game.
I don't know.
You just ruined my podcast segment.
Actually,
What was the most recent anniversary and how old are you?
Let's put you
numbers on here.
properly put me on the spot
I'm so
now.
sending
Do you know
Delina
I'm
a
sending
link to
this
this.
to?
She listens to it from time to time. I'm gonna get into the dog
She
box
knows
now.
the date, the time.
Chris is keeping it a secret because he wants it to be a surprise.
Is it like how long? How long have you been married?
How long?
Yeah. How many years?
8 years.
So maybe like 5 or 6 for me, I reckon.
Okay. So
Maybe going into our 6th year. Let's go with that.
Yeah, because you got married the year
you
after
shouldn't have
I
guessed.
did.
You shouldn't have guessed.
No, you got married 2 years after I did, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I worked with you when you got married.
Yeah.
I know because I was very disappointed not to get invited.
Right, well, should we now move on?
Yeah, after you fucking crucified me, thanks.
Who wants to go first? Who's got a bit of news they want to talk about?
I think we just got to flow into it because I'll get started, okay? Just following on from what we spoke about last week, okay?
Yeah.
Which was Blizzard fucking up Warcraft 3. So they've finally released a fucking statement. And the statement was... Yeah, the statement was basically saying, oh, we're sorry that you're not having a good time with our product that we haven't really put out properly.
Yeah.
We know it's a little bit buggy, but we're going to patch it and, hey, you're going to have a good time. By the way, we're not going to do anything about those cinematics.
They doubled down on them.
Motherfuckers.
Right? They claimed that it was... that they decided at some point to stick with like the original vision of Warcraft 3.
That's a shit way to put it.
Right.
Yeah, but if you do that, you're like, oh, we're going to stick to the original vision of Warcraft 3. Okay, but then that means that you're not going to have like, I don't know, 4K support or...
Right,
HDR,
exactly.
Like, or clean textures. Like...
Can I use an analogy?
Yeah.
That's like someone saying, oh, can I borrow your car? I'll bring it back, I'll get it clean for you and stuff. And you're like, oh, yeah, that'd be fantastic. They bring it back, they've used it, they've paid, like they've used all the petrol up and they drop it off and it's filthy dirty and you're like, thought you were gonna get it clean. Like, I thought I'd stick with the original aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you fuck! I wanted it to look better.
That's fucking ridiculous. Also, one thing that I you know when you read about all of it and it kind of makes sense to you, but you miss some kind of details.
Yeah.
One thing that I didn't realize. So even if you didn't buy Reforged and you just had the legacy title of Warcraft 3.
Yes. Because they've taken out elements from...
Yeah, so what they've
right?
done... Yeah, so I knew that they took out elements for parity between the two. But what I didn't realize is, let's say Jamie and I have bought Reforged, as an example, we haven't. And let's say you haven't, but you've got the legacy title. You go to play your legacy title.
Yeah.
It'll pop up saying, no, there's an update. It's a 20 gig update. You have to basically update your thing to Reforged. But because you haven't bought it, you can't access it.
You can just play the updated old version.
Yeah. So you have no
Weird.
choice in the match. So what people have started doing is actually resorting to piracy or physical copies without any updates,
Right.
just to play the original thing. And if you want to play online, you got to play on these legacy servers, pirated servers. Sorry,
Pirate servers.
it's just like I just don't get who's making the decisions
Yeah.
there.
That's business people, not gamers.
But at the same time,
my
like it
thinking.
comes back to what we were talking about last week, which is that who at Blizzard is signing off on these things? Like, surely you're in damage control mode where you just want everything to be
Yeah,
perfect.
like you could say, oh, it's a business decision, but you almost have to say, okay, in a company that's all about kind of like a subscription model, it's not. Yes, it's all business, but you have to have this kind of like consumer facing company, right?
I wonder if they've already made the decision. They didn't think about that. They didn't speak to people maybe who would have said, "Hey, I think this is a bad idea," and now they're too committed that they can't back out.
But if they're so committed, just do what you promised initially. So everyone's asking for refunds, and
Right.
fair play to Blizzard, they've automated a refund, from what I've been reading, automated a refund process, whereas before they were blocking refunds like fucking douchebags. But you're going through all of these efforts because you want, and they've pledged multi-year support on this title.
Sure.
If you're doing that, just make the product that will actually be a good product.
Yeah, but then I suppose if they've said they're going to do loads of patches, maybe have they said that is going to come around in patches?
No, they have point blank said that they are not going to change the cinematics. This may change.
Well, that's just
I
the
don't think that'll
that's just the cinematics. But I mean, what about the other elements of the game?
So they said that they're going to add in the stuff over time.
Okay, that's not great.
I don't know. Again, I remember what Chris you said last week, which is how Blizzard were always the "it's out when it's ready" company,
Right, yeah.
and it's just such a surprising and disappointing turn in them in terms of what the precedent they used to set was with their releases.
Yeah. I just don't think that...
Conspiracy theory.
Oh,
They did it on purpose because they were getting pressure from
Activision.
Activision.
Oh, so you think this is like a what do they call it? Like a red
red flag.
red flag or something.
False
like
flag.
that.
False flag operation.
So they've done it. They do it to themselves. They go, okay, Activision, we'll play your game. They get it out. They make such
That's why they're
a
accepting
fucking
refunds.
Hash. They lose a shit ton of money, and then they go, Activision, maybe next time you let us do Blizzard.
Yeah, but that's
Blizzard
not
way."
how it works. What happens is then like 200 people get made redundant.
Well, yeah, and then they just hire
And they're
a
just the
bunch
poor
of people.
fucking artists, and they're like, oh, but I did all my work. I fucking upraised the textures, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
and then you put them in the bin.
Put them in the middle.
It's pretty morbid, but I was listening to a podcast the other day and they were taking bets on by which year Blizzard's name would be removed from Activision Blizzard, and Blizzard would just be a company that acted under Activision the same way like Treyarch and Infinity
Yeah, it's
Ward
mad,
did.
man. It's
But
mad.
then maybe that's better for them if it gives
I
them
don't
more.
think so.
It's like imagine this way.
Autonomy.
They can't get less autonomy than they've got now. Surely, like
But if they're Blizzard Activision and they're getting,
I guess the thing is we don't know how much influence Activision have over Blizzard.
but we know what the rumors are.
Yeah.
we know what the hearsay is.
that's what I mean. Maybe if at the moment they're kind of melded together,
But-
and then they can peel off as a little individual unit, and then they can sort of hide.
But let's put it this way, right? Imagine Anthem came out, it sucked. Okay, fine.
It did.
Yeah, no. but
Not that hard to
I
imagine.
don't have to imagine.
yeah, you have to imagine it. But imagine they said, oh, okay, well, we're going to support this game for multiple years. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, that's good. They'll improve it. And then they turn around and say, yeah, we're not fixing it. We're just going to support it.
Oh yeah, that'd be ridiculous.
Well, this is basically what Blizzard have done, in a way.
With the exception of, I think, at the core of Warcraft 3 Reforged is a playable version of Warcraft 3, which is still a good game.
In terms
Maybe
of
that's
like,
the difference?
in terms of the campaign?
Yeah.
Yes,
So that you
I
could
believe
play
so.
Warcraft 3 Reforged.
I believe so. And for my sins, this is probably why I will pick it up
Right.
at some point, maybe probably within the next month, because I just want to play that campaign, because it's a great campaign.
Right.
But this is what's so fucking heartbreaking about it, is it's one of the best stories in games in a very, like, out there,
Ever.
right? Yeah, I mean, to a degree, right?
Well, no, you can believe that. You could be wrong, but
But I'm not the only one that believes it. And
Right.
it's just such a fucking tragedy that, like, we said it last week, it could have been such a fucking home run for them. And instead what they've done is they've swung the bat and hit themselves in the balls.
yeah.
It seems like that, yeah.
And then the ball that was pitched to them hit them in the head while they were crouched over, clutching their swollen testicles.
Just gonna get worse.
That's the most dramatic baseball analogy I've ever heard in my life.
Hey.
Soon they're gonna feel sick as a dog.
But listen, that's not the only Blizzard thing happening, right?
No. because Rod Ferguson, I believe the name is,
Good old Roddy F.
who I think was technically a part of a company called the Initiative or something like
Coalition.
that. Or the Coalition, yeah. The
Yeah.
Initiative's the other thing. Thank you. He has now left the Coalition and where he was running the Gears of War franchise and oversaw the production of, I think, Gears 4 and 5, and has joined Blizzard to oversee the Diablo series.
Oh, man.
Ahead of, hopefully, the soon-ish release of Diablo 4.
Hopefully, you really bothered when that piece of shit comes out.
It's not going to be a piece of shit. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm absolutely bothered when it comes out. I hope it's this year.
It's gonna be hot trash.
Oh, I hope it's not. Oh, hold on. It could be.
It could be, but I hope it's not as well.
Yeah.
And you should never hope a game is bad.
I don't hope it's bad. I just think it will be.
I don't know. I think it's an interesting get. I mean...
But hold on. How much money would they have needed to give this to? Because all of the... Okay, obviously there would have been a negotiations for quite a while.
Yeah.
But all of the bad press, if someone had to say to me, hey, Chris, come work at Blizzard, I'll
You
be
would
like...
jump at the opportunity.
I mean, yeah, well, yeah, because I'm unemployed.
Even if you weren't, we
Blizzard
rolled back a
podcast
year and
with
someone was
Chris.
like, Chris, can you come and be a producer at Blizzard? We need someone to oversee Warcraft 3 Reforged. You'd drop everything.
No, but
yeah.
it'll be even better because it would just be Chris doing a podcast on his own, and he had to just be completely into everything they did, and he'd just be like, "They're the best company. Everything is amazing."
Oh, my God.
I don't know. For me, it's an interesting one. But when you talk about the amount of money that must have spent and so on and so forth, I'm not sure. Rod Ferguson's kind of become a big name because he became the Gears guy in recent years and promoting Gears 4 and Gears 5 at E3, for example. He's the guy on stage. I don't know how big a deal he is, though, otherwise. And I feel like the foundations of Gears were very heavily laid down. And much the same way as what happened to Halo, sort of post-Reach, so Halo 4 and 5, I guess now. It's kind of like you took an established franchise, put a few twists on it, but not everything you've added has worked. Not everything you've done has worked. I guess he's probably got a lot of success in leading a big team and maybe hitting deadlines, and maybe that appeals. I don't know.
Or you're saying that this hire was an Activision...
Well, maybe.
Influenced.
If you were to look at things to praise Gears 5 about, I know you guys had a whole load of server problems when you guys tried to stream it back in the day. But otherwise, I looked at that and was like, okay, that was a game that was probably made on a fairly tight schedule and a quick turnaround, and there were lots of moving pieces, big team, marquee product for not just a big publisher, but a console manufacturer.
Yeah.
And it was pretty polished.
Yeah. I think besides those initial server issues, which, let's be honest, pretty much all online game has these
Seems
days.
like it's
It's like,
relentless.
do you remember when Solo was being made, the film?
Yeah.
And they had those two, the pair of directors, Lord and Miller,
Lord
is
and
it?
Miller, yeah.
And they sacked Lord and Miller and were like, fuck it, let's get Ron Howard just to bring this baby home. I wonder if Rod Ferguson's like the Ron Howard of this situation. Like,
Bring it home. Come on, baby.
just a calm head, who can
just finish the product, get it
who
done.
can manage a team and bring it home.
Fuck, that's a really good analogy, actually, because they did announce it, they had some stuff there, and... Oh, but then does that mean that Diablo 4 is in the perils?
Maybe. This thing's happened. Like, we're going to talk about something else later on. We're going to talk about another, industry story and another person who's moving, where there's a parallel story of like a game that we all love that was in a state of disrepair and a person who came in to save it. I hate dropping teasers like that because that's really, like...
The best thing is, it's probably not going to be talked about later. We'll probably talk about it right now.
Probably going to talk about it right now.
In pure segue gold.
Well, it's a rubbish segue now. Because as soon as you talk about the segue, it becomes
Yeah,
a
you've
shit
kind of
one.
ruined it, yeah.
Plus, the person who saved that project is not the person we're talking about.
No. But, are you finished with your little bit?
Yeah.
Hold on, are you going to move on over from the Diablo thing? Because I just want to say one thing. It's like, we don't know when Diablo's coming out. And we don't know what, besides World of Warcraft, I guess in Overwatch 2. But what is Diablo 4 the very next thing that they release? Right? And they haven't given a release date to it. It seems likely, right? And they haven't given a release date to it. So, what happens if that's bad? What happens? Like, holy shit, what if it's on... Because Blizzard... It's weird. Blizzard went from one of these companies being like, everybody wanted to fucking work at Blizzard, to now everybody wants to hate on Blizzard.
Yeah.
My sort of slightly depressing answer to that question, I think if Diablo 4 misses the mark, I think Activision sees control. They look over every element of development and the progression of Overwatch 2 and probably the more ongoing things like Hearthstone and World of Warcraft and just say, right, we're locking this shit down. We're taking away creative control and we're making sure these things make money. And they call it duty of fire. They're like, Not necessarily make it annual, but they control it to like.
Right.
Or do they go the Bungie route?
Like let them go independent. They buy themselves
they
out.
buy themselves out.
Well, that would be very interesting because that would imply that Blizzard are almost acknowledging at that stage that Activision the reason things have gone wrong.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's true that like when you start applying finish dates to games that you're not ready for and have to stick to them, it makes games worse.
But then at the same point, right? Maybe if Diablo 4 is bad, it's the best time for it to be bad and come out. Because it means that they're already in a shit place. It can only go up from here.
But Chris is right. What else have they got though? Like, where do you? If Diablo 4 misses the mark, how do you bounce back?
I've got no. I've
no
idea.
So they've got Hearthstone, which they keep on tinkering around with, right? And they're adding like their auto chess battler to it, which is a genre no one plays anymore. Fine, well done, Blizzard. Reforged was a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Year on year, the WoW expansions do less things and are less critically acclaimed. Mm-hmm. They've got World of Warcraft Classic, which is the one saving grace that they've had in a very long time, and then they've got the Overwatch expansion, Overwatch 2.
See, that for me is if they miss on Diablo 4 and then that doesn't do anything, then they're I guess they're done.
Dusted.
If Overwatch 2 hits, I think they'll suddenly be finding and everyone will love it.
I don't think it's a big product.
No, but it's just got to be good, right, for the people that like it. And then all it's got to do is put a smile on some people's faces, and people start.
And
writing
it does.
articles about
People
how...
fucking love Overwatch.
Yeah, and I think it would sell pretty well.
But they've done some weird things with Overwatch League. Did you hear about that?
No.
So they've done this thing where so you got all your characters, okay, and I think in Overwatch League what they said is they were going to remove random characters at set intervals.
Okay.
So completely remove them from the game. So not like, oh, you're team A and you're team B, and you can ban.
What? So permanently ban certain characters.
Permanently
from the game?
ban from in a time period.
Yeah.
But Blizzard decides, not you. So you don't say, oh, Jamie can't play as Ash.
Okay. So
Blizzard says no one can play as Ash. She's gone.
So then
for the next month,
but then she comes back and someone else disappears.
Yeah,
that's weird.
It's
that
very
is strange.
Like, why not let the teams just ban them?
Hang on,
because that's strategic, right?
But that just affects that professional league.
Overwatch League, I think so. Yeah.
See, I'd think it'd almost be better to do the opposite and to get rid of half of the characters, only start with half and then add characters in. Because when you take out random characters, it's almost like a bit of a weird.
No, but it's like what they're trying to do is like a rotational refresh.
Because you can't play as that character, and then when they come back, you're like suddenly.
I guess what they're trying to do.
Maybe what makes some sense in certain matches with certain types of characters.
They're gonna have some quotas, right? They're gonna say like, oh, you can only get rid of one healer, 2 tanks, or whatever, blah blah blah. But it's just kind of weird. Like, rather, because that removes any kind of strategy, right? Rather have an element of strategy of saying, oh, you can choose. This is what happens in Dota, right? A team you pick your character, and then you can ban a character from the pool. So if you know that Jamie's a really fucking good Roadhog, right? No offense.
Roadhog.
I know he is your favorite though.
Yeah.
And you ban Roadhog, by the time it gets to him to pick, then he's got to adapt on the fly, right?
Soldier 76.
Yeah. No, but do you know what I mean? Like,
that's what I do.
Why don't they do that? It adds a
I'm still not a fan
layer
of that, because then it's like, why would you ban someone else?
This is the professionals. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't really get it. I must admit.
But it's another weird kind of thing
that
I'm saying to say about Blizzard. Like,
yeah, sure.
Like another head scratcher of a decision.
Yeah.
Didn't the Overwatch League just change hands? Something's coming to YouTube that was previously Twitch
They signed an exclusivity with YouTube.
Right,
not just them. Call of Duty League as well.
Right.
Okay.
So Activision are in bed with YouTube now.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And apparently, I got this info from another podcast, but apparently League of Legends have, I don't know if they're planning to or if they have instilled this thing. We're saying, so they've got like a B tier thing, which I think was called like the LOL Academy or something, right? So if you're like a B team, you play in the Academy League.
In order to get good enough to get to the pros.
Yeah. But what they've done is they've made all the pros in the Pro League sign this thing, or they're gonna, or they want to, or they're thinking about it, that when the Academy matches on, they're not allowed to stream, even in their personal capacity. Because it takes viewership away.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
But imagine
in the kind of way like college basketball in America, I guess, and you get the NBA, and you don't want the two things to
in a way,
because I don't know if that's what they do with college basketball in America. Or maybe they do.
I would imagine that the matches could go on at the same time.
Yeah, I would have thought.
But what's weird about that? Let's say it is. Let's say college basketball and NBA never happen on the same time, right? But that's not really what's happening here. Because what's happening here is they're saying to fucking Kevin Durant, you can't play any sports or play any sport games
that sucks.
at the same time that these college games are going on. It's weird, right?
Like, it is weird.
Oh, you're not allowed to.
Why would you do it? Like,
You're not
why
allowed
would
to
you sign
stream.
it?
You're not allowed to stream because we need eyeballs on that thing.
But then you could like, should I sign that and then take the chance that I'm
you
not
have
going
to
stream on those days?
You have to. Their league is franchised,
Oh, okay. So you would then.
so it's like contracts and shit.
Oh, right. Jeez.
It's not just like, oh, I'm a player.
They have to pay me for that. Little.
Anyway, sorry, just
side
a little bit of
money on the
little bit of a tidbit from that. We've gone from Blizzard to
From the world of LOL.
the world of LoL.
So what were you saying before about Cliffy B was saying that he was going to offer his
Oh yeah,
services
that was
back to
a
Gears?
weird side note. Is that Cliffy B, tongue-in-cheek, of course. That's Cliff Blazinski, for anyone that doesn't know, who was formerly of Boss Key Studios, who made...
Originally at Epic, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Epic for a long time. Made his name really on the Gears franchise. Left them after Gears 3 to do his own shit, and he's kind of sort of semi-retired now. Yeah. But he has tongue-in-cheek joked on Twitter that he is happy to return to Gears, but like as a sort of a consultancy sort of role.
Yeah, fair
he
enough.
wouldn't want to take a full-time senior position.
Hey, listen, as always happens with these kinds of things, you look at it with Blizzard as well. Like, you start off, you get idolized, you keep doing it long enough, and people start ripping into you, and eventually you have enough and you leave.
Well, that is what's happened with Cliff Blazinski in this past week, because there's been a bit of games industry dramas, I suppose, because
Drums. Look at him.
so when Lawbreakers came out,
Yeah.
it didn't do very well.
No.
Not at all. And then they stopped doing that. And then remember they did that Radical Heights.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Battle Royale game with
Which
bicycles.
which I thought looked okay. I thought it had a decent concept behind it.
Well, so he's been talking about like what happened with Lawbreakers and Radical Heights, and effectively said when they were making Lawbreakers, they sort of shit themselves a bit because they saw the way the industry was going. You had like Fortnite and stuff came out, and there was a really big push for all of these big battle royale games, like free to play. I imagine it was a horrendous time to try and make like an online multiplayer game. Anyway, so the game comes out, doesn't do very well, but a lot of these stories that got picked up about Lawbreakers was that it was quite woke because it had things like gender neutral bathrooms and the fact that they were saying Cliff Blazinski was trying to put his own personal politics into the game. He subsequently has said that in an interview that the reason the game failed was for all these reasons. It was because of the time, it was because of the industry, it was a whole load of things that affected it, and they shouldn't have pivoted to go to Radical Heights the way they did, but they crapped their pants and they thought they had to because they thought they were going to, like, Lawbreakers wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
He also mentioned the fact that he shouldn't have injected some of his own personal politics into it, which has become interesting because that has meant a number of games sites in the past week or
That's
so
what they've latched onto.
have latched onto the fact that he they've said the reason Lawbreakers failed was because of get woke go broke, which is something that you keep seeing nowadays online, where you get people obviously saying it's good to be forward thinking and progressive, and other people that go on about get woke go broke. But I think it was interesting because they've again latched onto something which was only a tiny bit of what he said in an interview, and tried to say that he said it was because of that the game failed, when it wasn't at all. It was a small part. He said it was a part.
I didn't even know that Lawbreakers was woke, and if you'd asked me to guess, I'd have guessed the opposite.
Me either, until I read in the interview. I was like, oh, okay. But then,
I guess because we weren't one of the 50 people that actually played that game.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it's an interesting state that when you some journalists, I suppose, have taken some elements of a game. They've, rather than talked about the merits of the game and tried to push it, they've effectively talked about tiny little elements of it.
Yeah.
And maybe PR'd the game for all the wrong reasons, and then now it's kind of happening again with his reaction to it.
Man, you've just reminded me. Do you remember that whole bullshit with Cyberpunk and that...
the poster.
The poster.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
There was another thing recently. Did you hear about Temtem?
No.
Which is Temtem is the early access game that's like a Pokemon clone.
I was telling you guys about that one in one of the previous podcasts.
Yeah, I've heard about it now. And one of the reasons I heard about it is because there was a big kickoff in the Temtem community, because one of the ways they handle gender is that you're asked to choose your pronouns. You asked to choose how you want to be referred to. And so all these people on the Steam reviews were deleting it, and it was like 0.2 hours playing. They were like, asked me to choose my pronouns. What is everyone not non-binary in this world? What is this politics? Get the politics out of my Temtem.
See, I'm down the thing of like, I think gaming should be fun, right? At the end of the day, if there are things like that in a game,
it's a bold stance. Are you sure you don't want to retract that statement? I'll give you one more opportunity.
I think just like I don't really have a problem with going in and just putting like Mister. Like, do you know what? It's not going to make me back out of a game.
Him.
Yeah.
And if I don't think as long as the politics aren't rammed down your throat and are ridiculous, which none of these games are, they're usually tiny little aspects of the game. Like I think when it came to the choosing your character for V, I think in Cyberpunk as well, there was a thing about you weren't actually going to be able to choose whether or not they were male or female.
Yeah.
Which was
really?
I thought there was something to do with that, wasn't there?
No, it was
No, but you don't say it like explicit. There's a weird.
It's a character creator.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, but I think it's not like a dialogue box that says you want to be male or female. Blah, blah.
I think it's like it a weird thing?
But
they change it to like
long hair or short hair, boobs or no boobs.
Yeah. But there's another thing of like. If Temtem wanted to go down that route, there's maybe smarter ways of doing it, right? Like more of overt ways. Maybe their whole point is it doesn't need to be overt, and maybe it should be upfront. But for instance, they could have said like, "Hey, don't ask anyone their gender, and just have a character creator where all options are available, and then you create your character."
Which actually does seem to be something you see a lot nowadays. Like usually, like hairstyles or clothes or whatever were gated off in certain areas in games. Where if you choose male, you can only pick certain hairstyles. Now you definitely see a lot more.
Yeah,
it's all available.
Yeah, you can mix and match.
Anyone can wear makeup. Everyone can wear.
I've definitely played some Soul Calibur games where it's a dude and he's got boobs. So,
but then,
lots of women with beards as well, like the bearded lady of Guildford.
But then I do think the whole get woke go broke thing is almost, I would flip it on its head, and I'd say the worst thing that happens, the only real thing that happens is people push things by saying, no, you should play it because it's super woke, but it's because it's shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't usually happen that a good thing comes out and then it's too woke. It's like, I don't think that's a thing. Because a good game is a good game. Who cares if there's a bit of politics in it?
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Politics, huh? Do you know one company that don't give a shit about politics? Apart from sometimes when they do?
Go on.
Rockstar Games.
Oh!
And they have been in the news this week because one of the more high-profile departures from not just the company, but also kind of the games industry, it would seem, at least in the short term, one of the Hauser brothers has finally left, Dan Hauser.
Yes.
So what was his position? He was like vice president?
He was vice president and
creative
director, and he's also a co-founder.
Yeah.
So I guess starting from the creative aspect, he was a co-founder of Rockstar as we know them today, along with his brother Sam Hauser, and
Scottish, right?
They're both Scottish.
They still live in Scotland.
Rockstar North is based in Edinburgh,
there?
I believe. Edinburgh or Glasgow.
We get some inside information every now and then of like, oh yeah, these people have locked off this street because they're recording this thing.
Yeah. I was looking through their credits the other day to try and work out what he was a part of, and it's a little bit weird because Rockstar, the way they credit writing is a little bit compartmentalized. Especially with the recent GTAs, it's like, well, this guy did the pedestrian dialogue, and this guy did the internet, and this guy did the TV, this guy did the radio. But I think the bottom line to know about Dan Hauser is that he is credited as a writer or written by on all the GTAs, both Red Dead Redemptions, Bully, and so on and so forth.
Max Payne?
Max Payne 3, I believe, yeah. I can't remember if...
And 1 and 2.
Will you be...
Yeah,
this
was something I was looking up the other day, and I was like, "Oh wow!"
Because that Sam Lake would have written.
Yes, but Dan Hauser as well. I'll look it up.
Well, the split I heard it said, and again, take this with a pinch of salt because no one really knows what happens at Rockstar, is that Dan Hauser was the creative one, Sam Hauser was the business one.
That's a hell of a...
The series' first and second installments were written by Sam Lake, while Max Payne 3 was primarily written by Rockstar's Dan Hauser. But if you look...
Here we go, we're getting some live Wikipedia-ing, folks.
Pedestrian dialogue was written by Dan Hauser.
Yeah, okay, hold on. All right, just carry on.
The anticipation is killing me.
So where's Dan going? What's he doing?
Well, so this is the thing. They've announced that he's leaving. He's due to leave, I believe it's in March. So not long to go now. But he hasn't made a statement himself. These guys, the Hausers, are notoriously quiet. They very rarely make public appearances, very rarely do interviews. There's a few things out there you can find on YouTube, though. Sometimes even hard to find pictures of them.
Right.
That's how weird they are, considering they're industry titans for
absolutely
20 plus years. I wouldn't be surprised if this was at least a temporary retirement. I think what's interesting about what's happening to Dan right now, I love that Chris is doing all this just to kind of try and prove me wrong. That's all he's doing.
No, I'm not. I'm just... Because I could have sworn it was. But
so what's Dan doing right now?
So basically, Dan, for the best part of 2019, I believe since sometime around April 2019, was on a sabbatical. And it seems as though that sabbatical is kind of coming to an end, but he's also leaving.
So he's run out of coke and prostitutes.
Basically, yeah, he's run out of coke and prostitutes.
I got it.
So I think... what the conversation boils down to is there's two parts of the company this affects. There's a creative side, which, we can have to talk about, but the side that people are getting caught up on is the culture side. So obviously Rockstar were a super secretive company for a long time. Yeah. Stuff never really leaked out of there. There were all kinds of weird rumors about the culture within Rockstar. And it's been very interesting reading Jason Schreier's tweets about this stuff, because obviously you can tell he's a dude who's heard some stuff over his careers. And he's been saying a lot like, hey, if Rockstar had a culture, then Sam and Dan Houser were the sources of that culture. Right. Obviously, there was a big fallout last year, or the end of 2018, I should say, around the crunch culture during the production of Red Dead Redemption 2, which came to a head in October when Dan Houser, the one who's going, did an interview with the New York Times and claimed that there were 100-hour plus weeks being worked. He got pushback on that. He then did another statement saying, no one's forced to work overtime, people want to. Then people went to Jason Schreier anonymously and were like, that's bullshit. Yeah, if you don't work on weekends, you're getting fired. Yeah. Because Sam and Dan Houser come to the office, they walk around, and if they don't see you, shit's going to go down. Jesus. So there's a lot of speculation that this is all some part of Rockstar. Maybe it's influence from Take-Two. Maybe it's other people who we don't know as well. Some kind of influence to say, hey, Sam and Dan Houser have had the run of this place because they're the GTA guys, they're the founders, they're the old school boys, but it doesn't work that way anymore. Rockstar is probably thousands of people in studios all across the world. We can't let these two Scottish wasters run the show. And maybe this is the start of that.
You know what I'm looking forward to?
What?
This sounds like the start of Trainspotting 3.
I mean, do you know, I've joked about it before, but I'd fucking love someone to do a tell-all story about Rockstar.
It would be mad.
Because that's what if Dan dropped a book.
Well, I was going to say,
like a whole,
there was that one book that they turned into a made-for-TV film that apparently is horribly wrong, because it's, again, mostly speculation. But I've heard so much weird stuff about that. Like, people who are skirting around talking about the rumours they've heard about Rockstar. Shit involving strip clubs and holy water and complicated security card systems.
That sounds like the name of your album. Strip clubs and holy water.
I mean, there's some weird shit that floats out about Rockstar culture.
This wraps around quite nicely. I know we can carry on talking about the Rockstar thing, but it wraps around quite nicely in terms of Blizzard. Blizzard lost their way because all of the people that made Blizzard had left.
Yeah, but maybe this is an example of maybe a company that needed to lose its way.
But then it does it. I mean, what's the knock-on going to be? That's my biggest question is going to be what's going to happen to Rockstar in the future? Because if he is the creative lead, and then it could have massive implications for the sort of.
I've got a horrible feeling, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but I don't think we'll notice. So do you remember earlier I was referencing we were going to do a fake segue. The person I was talking about then was a guy called Leslie Benzies. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
He was a Rockstar employee for a number of years. He was a producer on some of their big projects. And he had a reputation as the fixer. And there was this great moment where he left Rockstar probably about 3 or 4 years ago now and sued them for unpaid, like for loss of revenue or something like that. And in the process of that suit, certain emails got released. And there's this great email from one of the houses to Leslie Benzies, basically saying it's the tail end of Red Dead Redemption development. Apparently it's in a horrible place and they want him to fly out there and give the studio a kick up the arse. And he says, we need the Benz, in all caps. So that guy left, and Red Dead Redemption 2, for as much as it was apparently delayed and chopped and changed and scrapped and restarted multiple times, did come out and was good.
Yes, absolutely.
But the issue was, it was good because the campaign was good. The campaign was well written. It was written by Dan Houser, and now Dan Houser's gone.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, you almost think it's the Steve Jobs effect, right? So Dan Houser's left, but obviously the projects that he was working to up till that point, even prior to the sabbatical, are probably games that have yet to be released.
Right.
So those games will release, and then it's only the effect after that.
So you won't notice the effect until quite a while after that. Yeah. Especially with game development and how long it takes for games to come out.
Right. Exactly. Like I still think the next Rockstar game, unless they are working on Bully 2, which I think they've done some work on it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's prototypes and ideas. But I've got a feeling at this stage that we might be closer to GTA 6 than anything else. GTA 6 is either next or the game after next.
But again, I got to pose the question.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
When GTA Online is still,
That would be
is
my
still
question.
a fucking behemoth.
Because I reckon the clock's going to keep ticking down on GTA Online, and the amount of like revenue it's generating is going to keep dripping down, and to the point where if you make a launch and relaunch GTA Online with a new GTA, the number goes right back up.
I wonder. It's funny because I wonder if you could almost peel off GTA Online so that you could have GTA 6, but someone could buy GTA 6, put it in, log in, and almost never feel like they'd left. It was just a more polished version of GTA Online.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to know how that would all work and how that would all start together.
I also feel like the thing with GTA Online is the money it makes is significant. I should say it's not insignificant, but it's nothing compared to the money you make making the third best-selling game in the history of video games.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is what GTA 5 now is.
Sure.
Third best.
Third best-selling game of all time.
So,
Wii Sports?
No, I don't. I think it's... I want to say by Wikipedia it's like Tetris and Minecraft and then GTA.
Oh, yeah, I think we did this the other day.
I don't know. It depends which source you go off.
Yeah,
Different people
All
have
right,
different
fine,
things.
fair enough.
But yeah,
Wow,
I'm going to controversially say I'd be curious to see what GTA 6 looks like without the houses. Because the houses, their sense of humor and their way of writing was always...
But again, what I said was, like, if you think about writing of a game, it's probably one of the first things that gets finished.
Must be, yeah.
So they've probably had their hands all over it. It's probably a done deal.
Maybe.
Sure, here and there, fixes, changes, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe. I don't know, I just feel like they worked themselves into a hole where like Vice City and San Andreas, and maybe to a lesser extent GTA 4, but certainly Vice City and San Andreas and GTA 3 were like send-ups of like movies that they liked, and like there had certain archetypes and cultural touchstones that they wanted to take the piss out of. And GTA 5 was the first time it felt for me that was like, they feel a bit directionless here. Like they're trying to be funny, but they don't know who to take the piss out of. So they just threw everything at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah, he has three characters.
Yeah, his three characters are different archetypes. Here's a Mark Zuckerberg stand in a social media. Here's a bit of everything.
It's interesting because you get it with it, right? You get it with like musicians as well. So when they put together their first album and they come off the background, they've come off on all the influences, and it's amazing, and they're releasing like this is amazing, and then the next album they release is good, and it's sort of the new thing they're experiencing. The further you go down that line, the more and more out of touch they become with where they started from and why people like them. And they have to have that same problem as well. Like
I think they've already had it. Yeah,
exactly. All those influences have now gone, and they're getting older. They're running out. They're probably less interested in like the zeitgeist, the culture, whatever. So actually, maybe it is the best thing that could happen to Rockstar.
Maybe that's part of the reason he left. He was like, I've made my money. The damage is done.
I'm out.
Yeah.
For me, it's strippers and holy water for the rest of my life.
Just lugging it by the ball.
Strippers and holy water. That's probably what we should name this podcast episode.
Strippers and holy water. Inside Rockstar Games.
We'll have to, in honour of Dan Houser, when it actually announces official leaving day, we should do a podcast in a strip club.
It's like
March 22nd or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, they've got. That's the day.
There's a date.
It was weird. Like
Podcast in a strip club, March 22nd. Coming your way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Might just hire a stripper to
I'll
Chris's house.
get on the blood spearmint rhinos.
Yeah. Sunset Strip in Soho.
Big time.
Hell yeah.
All
Should we do a few? We haven't done some questions for a while.
Let's do
some questions. Let's see. So if you want to get involved and ask us some questions, you can follow us on social media, which is at SuperShow Pod on Twitter and Instagram. I mean, you can't ask us questions on Instagram, but Otherwise, you can leave a comment below this video if you're watching on YouTube. Otherwise, you can tweet us personally.
Ooh.
And there's also the podcast questions tab in the Discord
server, which you can gain access to for $2. We actually had a bit of an issue with Discord where Patreon fucked up and new patrons weren't getting, the Discord link wasn't working. But I'm told that it is fixed, so I need to reach out to our patrons and see if anyone is still having any issues.
Cool.
Anyway, let's see. So we got one here from Cringe Lord. Okay. This is obviously from the previous podcasts.
Okay.
Yeah. Why are you in the same place that Just Interesting's podcast is in?
Oh!
Just Interesting being the former Uncovered, which was former All-Time Conspiracies boys.
Yeah.
They were pretty much in the same boat as us.
Yeah, like we knew what was happening and we were allowed to tell everyone, but certain things hadn't actually happened yet. So we had access to... That was the same... I know the brick wall looked new, but that was the same studio.
Same studio, yeah.
Anyone who saw the behind-the-scenes video will know. It's the same studio.
Behind-the-scenes video is not up yet. Hopefully it'll be up.
When they watch the behind-the-scenes video, they'll see it was all the same studio. We just happened to have the same backdrop and mics and table as them.
Yeah. Yes. And now we don't.
Now we don't.
So,
Well, unless you watch the Just Interesting podcast and they're here. Because they couldn't go anywhere either. And Chris is like, well, you can come
maybe
to
I
my
can make a
house.
little bit of a sweet business there. Take some of their Patreon money and be like, hey, if you want to use my my studio.
I'm actually going to watch their next video and be like, where are they?
I think they filmed a bunch.
Oh, smart.
They stacked up.
Very smart.
I mean, I may be wrong, but I don't know.
Well, they don't cover the news like we do.
Next question, which is less a question, more a statement from Kerry Baldino. Always feels like Chris is the nervous kid in the room trying to keep the parents from fighting. You know how that is, man.
No, yeah, to be fair.
Do you feel that way?
sometimes.
No. I think I know why. Because in the previous setup, in the previous studio, we had these table where the legs had these like crossbar struts, and I couldn't put my legs underneath the table. So I had to kind of be sat at the side like this, but then I didn't want to be focusing too much on the one side, so I had to keep on going like this. And I guess if I'm doing like over the shoulder kind of shit.
With some blue steel shit. Oh. I wondered if it was because like me and Jonesy are sat opposite each other.
Like staring
So when we
down.
have like an argument like we did last time about the future of
We never argue.
cloud gaming and all that stuff.
Please don't get into it.
You're just kind of sat there. And also, I will say, Chris is the one that has to clock watch.
I am clock watching. I'm a clock watcher.
So if we just tick over towards an hour and a half like we did last week, then he starts sweating.
Yeah, he does. He does get nervous.
I was sweating before we even started this. We had so many fucking problems. Anyway, next question. Harmit Singe says, do you believe that the Halo series is ever going to end? Halo 3 was my favorite game, and I enjoyed the series a lot, but I feel like the story is just being dragged on a bit at this point. And after Infinite, it's a long bit. And after Infinite, I don't know if the story will be as good as previous ones, because the stories in Halo 4 and 5 weren't that good compared to how you would feel in Halo Reach and Halo 3.
Never having played a Halo game, I've got no idea.
I can do this really simply. Chris,
Yes.
read that question again and stop at the word end.
Okay. Do you believe that the Halo series is ever going to end?
Yes.
Okay, good. Next.
Well done.
I think
Yeah.
it's always...
I mean, we're all gonna... who was it? Harmit? Or something like that.
Harmonjit.
Harmonjit. We're all gonna end, buddy. We've all got like a... We've all got life to... You know.
We're just sacks of carbon sacks of
Will
meat,
it
right?
be like James Bond? In that they just keep bringing out another story.
Master Chief's are going to become a black woman and we're all going to kick off.
Keep carrying on.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, the thing is that as long as people buy them, they'll make them. So, vote with your wallet. Leo Dunlop, what game would you like to see follow in the footsteps of The Witcher and get turned into a TV show? Or vice versa? That's it. That is a proper great one. I'm going to give a sellout answer and say Dota.
Interesting.
Because
So
I think
a
there's
lot
something...
of characters to juggle.
But I think that could be cool because what you could do is you could say this episode focuses on these 4 characters and their story. Interestingly enough, League of Legends are doing a TV show.
Animated? Or
Animated.
I presume, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I give my 14-year-old boy answer and say Horizon
Hold on.
Zero Dawn?
Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah. Actually, yeah, that'd be cool.
I think that'd be a wicked, like, post-apocalyptic robot dinosaur TV
Yeah.
show. It'd be wicked.
I think it would be quite...
Do you know who could play? What's her name? Aloy.
Yeah, Aloy.
That Egret from Game of Thrones.
Okay, yeah.
I like what you do with your tongue.
Oh my god.
That one.
Gross. I thought your 14-year-old boy answer was going to be like
A 14-year-old boy.
Duke Nukem or
Oh,
something.
right.
John Cena as Duke Nukem.
I was just getting excited about the prospect of
I'd like
robot
to think
dinosaurs and bows and arrow.
I'd like to think what my, non-sellout answer would be, though.
I've got an answer, and it's kind of inspired by The Witcher, which is like... I thought what was interesting about the Witcher Netflix show specifically is because they based it on the books and not on the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They took the concept of they took a character and a world and themes that people understood, but gave them a story they hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
Which to me reinforced this idea that as gamers, we don't mind seeing the story of a game not one for one adapted.
Yeah.
We just want to see characters and ideas handled with care.
Well, that's how we play every game, right? And every
Right.
game you play might not be the same as the way I play it, and etc.
Right.
etc.
So my pitch would be a BioShock TV series that is not a telling of the BioShock game, but is instead a telling of the world of Rapture, how it was created, other things that happened
be cool.
there,
That would
how
be very
Big Daddies came to
Or
exist.
the Fall of Rapture would be
The Fall of
really
Rapture,
cool.
that kind of
That's
stuff,
actually... Yeah, you got my vote. You got my vote.
Cool, yeah.
Thank you. Checks in the mail.
Oh, I got one for Alex Jones's fucking 14-year-old kid.
Go on.
Okay.
It's a weird sentence. Prince of Persia, Warrior Within.
Hell yeah.
Specifically.
Oh, well, why worry? Now it's going to be some emo shit. It's going to be like Spider-Man 3 takes on Prince of Persia.
I think it would be cool. I think it would be really cool.
There'd be some cool cinematics, but I think it's we've seen the film for Prince of Persia, and I think it'll be more like that. I don't think it's much of a TV series. Maybe.
Oh, you know what? Actually, going back to the previous question as well, it related in a way. Neil Blomkamp was meant to do a Halo series, and that would have been fucking cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I think
I'm not the biggest Halo fan, but
Halo's another one which it's almost the opposite of games like The Last of Us, in that fuck the story that any of the Halo games told. Like, take the idea of Spartans and that world and the Halo itself and the Covenant and do something in that world. Halo itself has shown that you don't need Master Chief to make good Halo games, because Reach was good.
Yeah.
And ODST was
ODST. All right, moving on. Jenny Light says, "What are your personal favorite games from either PS1, original Xbox, or N64?"
What? They just chose two different generations.
Hey. PS1 would be G Police for me.
Oh, G Police. Okay.
N64 probably Turok or GoldenEye.
Yeah. And then original Xbox?
Didn't play it.
Fair enough.
PS1, I'll go like Crash and Spyro. I was younger than you guys, so it was like Crash and Spyro.
Hey,
Brian Lara Cricket.
Crash would be not my PS1.
One of the Tomb Raiders. I forget which one I played a lot of.
Everyone
played two.
I know, but it was I had some weird one like Revelations or something like that. I can't remember. I think it was after 1 and 2. Not very good, but
original Xbox?
Original Xbox, Halo 1 and Halo 2. The redone Conquer they did. Conquer's
a bad photo.
But the one they redid that was like with a multiplayer focus.
Oh right.
I don't know, KOTOR.
Oh yeah.
And what was it? N64? Super Mario 64 and GoldenEye.
Wow, okay.
You?
Probably either Ocarina of Time for Nintendo 64.
Yep.
Or I'd go, what was the it wasn't Double Dash, it was just Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quality. PS1 would be Crash or Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
And original Xbox, I did not have one because you couldn't really get an original Xbox in South Africa. But going by PC games and what you've said, I did like the first Halo, and I did like KOTOR.
Yeah, I'm struggling to remember because I played the GameCube and the PS2 so much more. I can't remember many original Xbox
Only
games
original Xbox game I ever played was a Mech Warrior game, and I actually quite liked it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
It's all right. Jenny Lights also says, by the way, also bring back Game Changers. I wish we could. The thing about Game Changers, it took so long for us to do because we're doing so much other stuff that it was just
a lot of research.
It was so hard to kind of make.
You can probably do them a lot faster now, but why bother?
Yeah, I mean, Jamie's bored of them already.
Yeah.
And last question from Supern. Here's one for Jamie.
Oh,
I saw you played all of the excellent Saints Row games, but have you also played Saints Row Gat Out of Hell? If so, what did you think of it?
I have not played Saints Row Gat Out of Hell. Weirdly enough, I have played Saints Row. I played Saints Row 4 on the 360.
Yeah.
And I've played Saints Row 4 re-elected on the PlayStation 4 twice. And I've never once spent a second in Gat Out of Hell. Because you know what? For as much as I'm a Saints Row fan, I don't like Johnny Gat. And I don't want to spend any time in hell.
Fair enough.
Fair.
Unless it's for Doom.
Are you going to pick up...
For re-elected on the Switch.
Yeah?
Well, the port of Saints Row the Third on the Switch was apparently guff. So I'm worried that there's something about that engine that doesn't translate well. Because the Saints Row games had frame rate problems every iteration ever on any console. I don't know. I love Saints Row.
It's a good series.
That was a big series for me.
Do you remember when they did that... I can't even remember what it was called. Was this like Hero Brawler thing? What was it called? Like
Lost on me.
Agents of Mayhem or something.
Oh, Agents of Mayhem, yeah.
That was weird.
It was right. It was a Volition game in the same universe, I guess. Yeah, I bought it and didn't like it.
Well, there we go.
Fair enough.
Yep, story of my life.
Well, I think we can wrap it up there. Good old over an hour.
Was it?
But under an hour and a half.
Oh, you lucky people.
I got 108 on my timer. So
well, they might not be lucky. This could be the worst audio quality they've ever had in their life, and their ears are bleeding now.
In which case, we're very sorry.
If you
I hope it's okay. If it's okay, we're not changing anything.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. We should probably work on some stuff. If you did make it to the end, which hopefully means you're listening to this, then leave a comment to let us know you did it, and we can thank you personally.
Hell yeah. Or do you want to give them like a code word or something?
Here's the code. Rate the podcast 5 stars on iTunes so we know you got to the end.
Oh, then, I like it.
No, I'm joking.
No, but
say like... I was good.
Say Halo.
Everything that popped in my head was dirty.
Say Halo Forever. Put Halo Forever and
Halo Forever.
Yeah, Halo 4
Forever.
ever. EVA.
No, can we do Saints Row Forever?
Yes, that's better. Saints Row Forever.
SR Forever. In
See,
the chat. In the,
but you guys have gone
chat.
lame with it. I would have just said something like weird, like, oh, just write the word albatross.
Okay.
Well, no,
right, Saints Row Forever, Halo Forever, or Albatross, or Bagel in the and then
cream cheese or
cream cheese and bacon. But leave a
worst
question.
call to action in the world.
Leave a question because we like questions in the.
Yeah, we got a bit of a backlog with questions. To be fair, we will get to them eventually. I do promise you.
Yeah.
But with that, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to check us out on social media at SuperShow Pod. Support our Patreon if you could be so kind, or at least just go check it out and see if any of the tiers kind of speaks to you. We do have a lot of additional content on our Patreon, such as additional podcast episodes, full length. I'll have you know. There is going to be a behind the scenes, and I think we're going to put up a bloopers reel in the next week or two.
Nice
as well.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, patreon.com/supershow. And with that, thank you so much for listening. I hope it was an okay recording, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.
Goodbye.